Good morning. It is coming up to 10 to 8, Saturday the 26th of April. Just going out this morning. Got a little private job, Manor to Southport, and then I think I'm just going to jump straight on Uber and stay out for the day. So yeah, other than that, I've just checked the guy's flight. I think it's running late by about 10 minutes. Set off about 10 minutes later, but yeah, other than that, that's about it. A little bit cooler today than it was yesterday. It's only 11. I don't think it's supposed to be getting much warmer. Yeah, that's about it. So I'll if I get a chance, I'll give you a little update when I get there, see if anything's going on drastic at the airport, and then the next update will be once I've dropped the passenger off in. So it's just turned 10 o'clock, just dropped the passenger off. Nice guy, he's only a young guy. He moved to Australia I think about 10 years ago, so I think he's been back, I think this is the third or fourth time in the past 10 years. Yeah, he's just coming back for a couple of weeks, so he's telling me all of his tales and stories, what's going on, and talking about sharks, and he was nearly eaten by a shark, and yeah, wasn't too bad. Just dropped him off. It was at a bit of it was one of them where it was like a discounted rate, because it was a work colleague of me mum. It was like her nephew or something like that, so basically done a bit of a discount. It was £80, whereas I've got like another booking, I think it's next week. I'm taking someone up there. I think it is, or is it Monday? I can't remember. But I'm charging 115 for that one, and that's just obviously just to drop them off. So yeah, taking a little bit less, but it's one of them where you're trying to help someone out. So yeah, I've still got a quarter of a tank left. So just to show, I've done 82 miles. I've been getting 2.6 miles per kilowatt, because the majority has been like motorway miles, which all EVs are rubbish on motorways, but with this one having a smaller battery, it's not the greatest. So I know if I'm just doing motorway miles, I'm good for about 110 miles thereabouts. So it's saying I've got about 26 miles left. I'll have more than that because I'm not on the motorway now. So I'm going to head to a BP charging station to try out this Uber card. You know, if it works, no idea. You're supposed to get, like I said before, the £750 worth of free credit over the next 3 months. So I'll go down there. The nearest one is 8 miles away, which is kind of like Formby. So I'll drive down there. It's saying it's a very fast charger. I give that a whirl, see what happens. So yeah, I'll update you in a bit and let you know. Hopefully it's... So finally on charge. I came down to Formby. It's like best part of a 15-minute drive to get down here. I went to like a new modern kind of forecourt. It's got a BP petrol station. It's got you can tell it's a posh petrol station because it's an M&S petrol station, would you believe? Because you're in Formby. You had all these car wash bays, all like really ultra modern. Nice big fancy modern charging station in the corner. So I'll pull up to that, get the app out. You know, it says, you know, select what one you want. I think there's 2 CCS chargers, which are the rapid ones, and like a normal one. The first concern was it was saying that number 2 was being used, even though there was only me there. So I select number 1 multiple times, and it was coming up just saying, no, it's unable to connect. So I thought, right, okay, I'll just get out and I'll use the card and tap on there. So I get out, pressing it, the screen's not working, nothing's working, the whole thing's broke. So yeah, a bit stupid. So luckily there was another BP one, which is about a mile away. It's just round the back of this hotel. It's only a 50 kilowatt one. I've actually used this one, I think it was last year at some time. I think I got a job down here and I needed a little bit of a top up, basically just to get me home. So it's only a 50 kilowatt one, but at least it's working. So yeah, so I'm just doing that through the app now. I've got no idea if it's going to bill me. I don't know if it's going to, because obviously last time I've just tapped basically like my bank card on the front of the machine, whereas this time I'm doing it through the app, which is when you go to like personal information and scroll down, it just says partnership, Uber UK, BP, Pulse, X, Uber. So I don't know how it works. Yeah, I've got no idea. I don't know who's paying for this charge as we speak, if it's me or if it's coming off the so-called free credits you're supposed to get. But yeah, I'll stay on charge here now. It's when I got here, I plugged it in, it was on 20%. It's just coming up to 30% now. So yeah, it might be here for about another half an hour. And then I will see if anything is happening on Uber, because normally I'd come on you know, midday to 1 o'clock anyway, so by the time I have charge it's going to be just after 11 o'clock, so it's kind of like I probably would have started my day shift by then anyway, my Saturday shift. But other than that, yeah. One thing I forgot to mention before is like normally when I'm doing like private jobs, obviously the price is a lot higher, and one of the reasons the price higher is if I've got a couple of private jobs on that day, I would have to use a rapid charger, maybe in between jobs. So I factor that into the price. If I've got no intention of working after that private job, it's fine, because I come home and just recharge at night, and it only costs, I think it's like £3.40 or something. So ordinarily, like, I wouldn't have done that job for like 80 quid, because I think I'm doing the same one on Monday it is for like 115. Because if I had to come here now and I had to pay, which I'm assuming I'm not because this is using the free credit, but if I did have to pay, I think these are charging like 80 something pence. So basically to fill my tank up now would be like, I don't know, let's work it out quickly. So if it was a full tank, like I said, I've still got 20% left, but let's just pretend it was empty. Times, and I think it's about 80p. It would cost about £36 to fill up. So one, that's extortion, but that's what a lot of the rapid chargers charge during the daytime. And if you would have done that job for £80, you've then had to come and charge up, which has cost you 36. Bear in mind, it's less than 36 because, like I said, I've still got 20% battery left, so let's call it 30. If that would have cost you 30 quid, then obviously you only would have got £50 for that job. Minus your parking at the airport, which I think is about £6. I need to pay that now. So you'd be down to like, what, £44? And then it's took me roughly 2 hours. That's from leaving mine to get to the airport to drop the guy off. So if I was heading straight home, it'd take a little bit longer. So then, you know, basically you'd be on like between, if you were going home or if you were staying out, you'd be on between like 20 and 23 £23 an hour, something like that. So it wouldn't be too bad because it's kind of during the daytime, you comparing it to Uber rates, that is. But doing that as a private job, as a private operator, they're really crap rates. So like, putting it into perspective, the job that I'm doing, an almost identical job on Monday, but I'm charging 115 for me to go and pick them up about half an hour, drop them off an hour, and then to come home. So again, roughly a 2 hour job minus the airport fees. I'm on £55 an hour, so there's like a massive difference. Granted, if I was to then charge up and using a rapid charger again, even if you take about £30 off that, it then takes you down to 80, is it? So then you're on £40 an hour. So again, yeah, still, you know, still decent rates. But yeah, the only, one of the reasons I'm staying out now, because normally I probably would have, like I could have gone home and charged up at home for, I think it's about 25 pence a kilowatt. Granted, that would have took about 5 hours, but I still could have come out at like 2:30, 3 o'clock this afternoon, and then done an Uber shift until like 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever. So I still could have got my shift in, and I still could have charged my car up for 0.25. I could have charged my car up for about £10. So yeah, it's about a third of the price charging up at home during the day. But obviously, with it being Saturday, I want to go straight out on Uber, so that's the only reason I'm doing it. And then on top of that, I just wanted to try this BP Pulse free credit, because if I'm getting £250 a month, you know, I might as well crack on and use that rather than using my own money. So yeah, there was a couple of things there I'm just basically trialing out. So yeah, I'll coming up to 40% battery now. Yeah, as soon as I'm charged up, I'll jump on the Uber app and I will see what's happening, if anything. At the minute, if we click on it, everywhere is just kind of looks quiet. 2 reservation opportunities come up. Somebody's took them, which kind of makes me laugh. Like, I know it's ridiculous for me because it was miles away. It was over in Ellesmere Port, and it was going to L1, and that was around midday. It was saying it was like a 12-mile journey, and it was offering, I think it was like £13, and it was going to take half an hour. So somebody's accepted that job to pick someone up from Ellesmere Port to take them into Liverpool. They're basically making £1 a mile, and it's going to take them half an hour at least. And you're going through the tunnel, so you've got your tunnel fees and everything. Honestly, I don't know how some people work, unless they've got a free car and they're driving around with no insurance and they get free fuel. I don't know how they're making it running for them jobs. Honestly, it's ridiculous. So that's about it. I'll stop waffling. I'm waffling because I'm bored now, sat here. But yeah, I'll catch up with you in a bit. So it's just turned 1 o'clock. I realised I didn't do a little update before when I started. So basically, went on charge, didn't I, about 10:30. I came off at about, I think it was just after 11:30. Obviously it was a bit of a slow charger because it was only a 50 kilowatt one. I wanted to try and get as much in as I could, so I think I took it to like 97%, and then I got bored. It's fast up until about 90, and then it drops right down, you see, to like 7 kilowatts or something. So it goes dead slow. So anyway, then I had to nip around back to that BP garage that was like half a mile away to go for a wee. So I came online at about 12 o'clock anyway, onto Uber. It's been ticking over. It's been a little bit slow, to be honest. I'm currently in Southport. So the first job was like the outskirts of Southport. Basically come out of Formby and jumped on the Formby bypass. Just as I come into Southport, I got a little one, £4.58. It was a 4-minute job going 0.9 of a mile. And then straight after that I had another one, which was a couple of streets away. It was £6.85, a 13-minute job going 3.5 miles, which was Lord Street, which is basically the main road in Southport. And then after that, just dropped a guy off, including a £2 tip, £6.18. It was a 4-minute job going 1.3 miles. He'd gone for a jog. He'd left his mum at a coffee shop on Lord Street, and then he couldn't be bothered jogging back. So he was, yeah, it was a 4-minute drive. Well, it was 1.3 miles, so it's going to take what, about 10-15 minutes or something to run back, and he couldn't be faffed. So yeah, I've just accepted that job and the thing's gone off. So I think it's about £17. There was an XL job which was half decent, going like 2 miles for like £8, but then they cancelled. So, you know, I was literally like 2 minutes away after dropping this guy off, but obviously 2 minutes is too long for people to wait for an XL, so God knows. Yeah, so I think I'm on about £17, so not the greatest, but you know, granted it was between like 12 and 1. So yeah, see what happens, and I'll go and crack on with this other little job. So it's just turned 3 o'clock. It was a quick little 2-hour stint. The job I left off last time, it was a £4.70. It was an 8-minute job going 2 miles. I then had a £5.31. That was another 8-minute job for 2.2 miles. I think that's the guy. I picked him up and he was picking his mate up on the way into Birkdale, and he'd stuck, I think it turns out he put the wrong address in. His mate lived at, like, I don't know, such and such gardens, so he's typed it in, but there was two of them, gardens named the same, within like half a mile. So basically we were driving over to the other one. I said, oh, you just have to show me where it is then. And he was like, oh, sorry about that. He said, yeah, it is. Here's a £3 tip so you don't miss out on anything. Because he said, oh, will it recalculate? And I said, well, sometimes it does. I said, but I'll probably get like another 10p. So he gave me £3, which was good of him. So basically that turned that £5.31 into £8.31 for the 8-minute job, 2.2 miles. The football's on down here, which I didn't realise. No idea who's playing. He had a white and red top on, if that helps. I then got an XL job, £9. It was an 8-minute job going 2.1 miles. Dropped them off at the stadium. I then got another job back on Lord Street, another XL, £7.59. Another 8 minutes for 1.4 miles back to the stadium. I then had another XL from the train station to the stadium. That was £7.17. That was a 5-minute job for 1.4 miles. And then had a little £3.80 5-minute job, 1.6 miles. And then I've just dropped a guy off. I think he's a private hire driver. Turned up, nice big house. And I think his car was parked on the road instead of his driveway. I think it was like Delta or something. And he was talking, I think his wife got in. I'm sure I've picked him up in the past. And she was going, oh, very nice, oh, we're arriving in style, and you know, she really liked it and everything. And she'd said like, oh, that's definitely a 5-star rating. And this guy, I think he's like Irish or something, he went, oh, don't say that. He said, that's just embarrassing. He said, someone said it to me the other night or something. I'll give you a 5-star rating. He said, I don't want your 5-star rating. He said, I just want a tip. So I'm sitting in the front just laughing me head off. But he didn't say to me, oh yeah, I do Uber as well or anything, but you could tell by the way he was talking, he was like, he just wasn't asked about a 5-star rating. So yeah, that was a little £5.44, 6-minute job, going 1.8 miles back in. On one of them other XL jobs that went to the stadium, they gave me a £3 tip as well. So yeah, it's only been 3 hours. I thought it would have been longer, but obviously I've been out this morning. I got mixed up. I've only done Uber for 3 hours, so yeah, I'm currently on 66. So it's £22 an hour. So it's not too bad. I was hoping it would have been a little bit busier, but yeah, it is during the day, isn't it? So yeah, just gone back online now, and I'll see what happens. Hopefully, what time did I drop all them off at the match before? Because obviously it'll be another little bit of a run on when it all kicks out. What time was I taking them down? I was taking them down between 1:30 and 2 o'clock. So I don't know if the kick-off's like 2:30 or 3 o'clock. So yeah, there'll be another busy period in like another hour or so. But yeah, it just seems to have gone a little bit quiet, so a little bit bored. That's about it. Nothing else has happened, so I'll give you another update in a bit when something's happened. So it's been a while. Last update was 3 o'clock. It's now 8 o'clock. It's just been job after job after job, to be honest. So it's I basically just carried on and carried on. Where was we? Yeah, so just after the update, I had I've pretty much just been in Southport the whole time. I had a £3.76, 5-minute job going 1.6 miles. Then had a £4 job, which was 5 minutes, 1.4 miles. A £4 5p job, 6 minutes, 2.4 miles. I then had a priority, which was £14.98. It was a 10-minute job going 4.6 miles. I think they just come out of the football that was on. So I was kind of waiting, because I heard them say they came out and he was like, oh, there's only 7 minutes of the match left. He said, so he was telling his mate, I'll catch the final score on his phone. Then I had a £4.79 7-minute job, 2.1 miles, and then a £4.36, that was a 7-minute job going 2.4 miles. I then had, including a £2 tip, £8.86, 9-minute job going 3.4 miles. I then had an XL from the football match, £8.68, 6-minute job going 1.7 miles. Then had a £5.37, that was a 7-minute job going 0.8 of a mile. But then had an XL, which was a family going out for the lunch, parents, 4 kids. That was £9 and a penny. That was a 7-minute job going 2.1 miles. Then had a £7.29, that was a 4-minute job going 1.5 miles. Then I had a £5.13, 6-minute job going 1.5 miles. Then a £6.63, 8-minute job going 2.6 miles. Then had another XL, that was £8.59, a 5-minute job going 1.7 miles. Another XL job, football again, £9.54, 7 minutes, 2.1 miles. Another XL from the football, £6.17, 5 minutes, 1 mile. That then took us to around 7 o'clock. Then had a £6.02, that was a 3-minute job going 1.1 miles. A £5.55, 4-minute job going 2 miles. A £5.83, which was a 7-minute job going 2.6 miles. And then I had another XL, which was that family that I'd taken out coming back home again. That was, but this time it was slightly more for them, I don't know why. £9.39, 5-minute job going 1.9 miles. That then took me to, it was about 25 to 8, and I had about 15 miles of range left. So that took me to just shy of £200. That's just on Uber, not my private job. So pretty much I'd done like 7.5 hours at that point, so just rounded up to the 8, because when I got to the charger it was 8 o'clock. So basically I've done £25 an hour for the past 8 hours, which is good for all during the day. But like I said, if it would have started to have gone quiet, or it wasn't at £25 an hour, I don't think I would have came to charge up. So basically just rolling the dice a little bit, thinking if I charge up and stay out. On top of that, obviously I'm using the BP card again, so technically it's free for me to charge up. I did drive back down to Formby, so it was like 15 minutes from where I dropped that family off. I thought I'll come back to this first one that I came to, you know, where the charger was broke, because they've got like a big M&S, so loads of food and stuff. And then I'll go down to the other charger. And then when I pulled in, this charger was all lit up again, so they've obviously rebooted it. So I came over, come on charge on this. It says max like 300 kilowatts, but this car doesn't charge up 300 kilowatts, unfortunately. I think only my Audi goes up to about 200 kilowatts. This goes up to 100. So I've plugged it in and I'm getting 90 kilowatts, which is good, considering the one which is like a mile down the road, the one that I used at 11 o'clock this morning, that was only giving me 50 kilowatts. So technically I should charge up twice as fast. I was there for just over an hour, you know, so I might only be here for about half an hour. Plus it's free. If I was paying, I think it was saying it's 69 pence. So yeah, I thought I'd come down. I'll have something to eat anyway because I haven't had anything to eat yet. Top up, and then I don't know if I go back online. Hopefully it should be just before 9 o'clock. Might have another couple of hours. I might do 1 hour and it's completely dead, and then I go home. So yeah, it'd be kind of like a bit of a waste of time, but that's just all part of the rolling the dice with Uber. You've got no idea. It's just it's a gamble. But yeah, the only thing you can go off is, has it been busy during the day, or has it been busy for the past couple of hours? It gives you a good indication of whether or not you're going to be staying out or if you're going to be going home. Saturdays are normally better. Fridays used to be good as well, but for the past 4 or 5 Fridays now, I've been home for 8, 9 o'clock, so it's been crap. However, the Saturdays have been a bit busier past that time. So yeah, no idea. I'm going to have something to eat and then carry on. I had one guy in before, and he said, "Oh, is this full electric, is it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh no, I'm dead against them. Don't get me started on them." I was like, "Oh, here we go." So normally people will say things like, "They're too expensive. The network isn't good enough." You know, kind of like valid points to a degree. But his was more on the environmental side. He was basically saying, "Oh, I've read some statistics and it says that basically it's not neutral or carbon neutral, or basically an EV car needs to have done 80,000 miles for it to basically be green. Anything before that is basically, it's just more polluting than a diesel car." So I was like, all right, okay. He said, and a new one came out the other week. He said, basically because EVs are heavier, which they are, because this one's like 2.8 ton, 2.9, it just about folds into the car category on an MOT. That's what the guy told me when I had it MOT'd before I got it plated. Yeah, he said because they're heavier, he said they use more brake pads, and he said some survey or whatever's been done, and basically they've determined that because of the additional weight of the EVs, they're using more brake pads, and that brake pad dust is more harmful than a diesel car. So I just burst out laughing. I said, "I'm sorry to piss on your parade." I said, "But I recently had my Audi serviced, and I said I've had it just shy of 3 years now, and I said I've only used 20% of my brake pads." I said, "So technically my brake pads are going to last me 12 years. I said, "So whenever you've got them statistics from about the brake pads, it's a load of my arse." And he was like, well, why does it use so little? I said, "Well, it has the regenerative braking." So I said, "Look," I said, "I'll take my foot off the accelerator now, and obviously it starts to brake." I said, "That's not the brake pads." I said, "It's basically taking that, you know, kinetic energy, as it were, and it's recharging the battery again." I said, "So it's not using any brake pads." And he was like, oh, I see. "Oh, well, I'm still not fussed on EVs anyway." It's just funny, like, people who are like dead against them, like, they basically just read crap online, rather than, you know, go and speak to someone who's got an EV and ask them. Like, if anyone with a brain would have said that statement about the brake dust, spoke to someone who has an EV, they would have told them, "Oh no, I've only used 20% in 3 years," and then you would have said, "All right, oh well, what I've read then is obviously a load of rubbish." But he was like, no, I'm still against them." So I was just like, right, okay, mate. I said, "I get them." I said, because yeah, granted, they can be a bit pricey to buy if you go and buy new, but then that's your own fault for buying new. I said, "But you know, the cheaper to run, the cheaper to fuel." I said, "You know, I can fuel this up for like £3 at home." I said, "You can't do that with a diesel or a petrol." And he was like, "Oh yeah." He said, "Well, all the people I know who have got EVs, it's just so they can accelerate fast." And I was like, "Yeah." I said, "That is one of the benefits." I said, you can accelerate really quickly." So yeah, he's dead set against them. He said it's just a fad, bit of a phase. He said they'll all be gone in a couple of years. Honestly, some people, it's just like, you wonder how they make it, because he must have been like 40 or so. I'm thinking, how have you made it to 40? And you're so gullible, you're so naive. So yeah, that's about it. Other than that, it's been pretty uneventful really. It's been an easy kind of shift. There hasn't been any drama or anything. Yeah, and that's pretty much about it. So stuck that on charge when I got here. I think I was on like 9% left, and it's coming up to half a tank already, and I stuck it on charge. Is there a timer on this app? The app's a bit poo on the BP one, so it just tells you when you started. I went on charge at 8:10, so it's been on charge now for 13 minutes, and it's put in almost half a tank. So I'm going to have to go and eat my sandwich quickly, because at this rate I'm going to be fully charged by, well, another like 15 minutes. So it's yeah, it's one of the benefits of obviously having a smaller battery, with it being 50 kilowatt. Charges up a hell of a lot quicker. If I was here now with my Audi, it's kind of swings and roundabouts, because more kilowatt would go in, because it'd take up to 200 kilowatts. But then it's a 100 kilowatt battery, so obviously it takes longer to charge. So yeah, I've got to have something to eat because I'm starving, and I will give you another update. I'm hoping when I start again, it's going to carry on being busy. Otherwise, I've basically just come and sat in a car park to charge up to drive home. To be honest, I've ran it that flat anyway. I wouldn't have made it home. But if I was going home, I would have had to have jumped on a rapid charger, even if it was just for like 2 or 3 minutes, just to put an extra couple of miles in to get me home. So yeah, I'll update you shortly. So it's just turned 2 o'clock and I've just got home. It's been non-stop, to be honest, other than like the last half an hour. So yeah, I haven't been able to update you. Where was we? Last update was at 8. I went on charge. It did charge up faster, because it was I was getting like 90 kilowatts. And then by the time I came off charge, had a wee, set off, it was coming up to 9 o'clock. So it was about an hour, to be honest. So where was we? 9 o'clock. Let me just rewind a little bit, scroll back. Keep scrolling. There we go. So first job, I was down in Formby, and I thought I'm going to have to start heading back towards kind of Southport, because at that point you either head towards Southport or Liverpool. So I started heading back, and I thought, I hope I don't have to drive all the way back empty, because it's like a 15-minute drive. And then an XL job came up, £18.80. It was a 15-minute job, 6.7 miles, and it was going from Formby to Southport. So I thought, oh, that's quite handy. As soon as I dropped them off, I did have another XL lined up, but it cancelled. I then had another XL, £7.74, and it was only going 0.9 of a mile. So I sat outside this, like, I've been there in the past, it's like a bit of a labour club kind of thing, and then this couple come out and they're pushing a pram. So I get out and I was like, oh, you booked an XL? He was like, yeah, it's just because we've got the pram and that. I was like, all right. And he's like, oh, I was okay if I lift a baby in this. So it's basically, it's not a baby car seat, it's basically just I don't know, it's like the top part of the pram. I mean, I should know myself, because I've got a 5-week-old as well, a 5-month-old myself. And I was like, fucking hell, I said, like, it's supposed to be like in a proper seat, like in a car seat. And he was like, oh yeah, he said, it's just we're struggling to get back, it's only round the corner, he said, and like we don't want to push it back because the baby's only 9 days old. I'm thinking, fucking hell. So we stood there with his missus, who gave birth 9 days ago. It's gone 9 o'clock at night, he's in the middle of nowhere, and he's got a 9-day-old baby. I was thinking, Jesus Christ. So he sticks the baby in like the top part of the pram, like on the seat, in between the two of them. And I said, look, I don't mind doing it. I said, because literally when we pull out of there, it's a 20-mile-an-hour zone. So it was like 20 mile an hour back to their house, which was, like I said, like 0.9 of a mile away. I said, so yeah, I said, I don't mind doing it, because it's like, you're stranded here. I said, but if it was any further, or if I had to go onto like an A road or something, I said I wouldn't do it. I said, because it should be in the baby seat. So I dropped them off anyway. The job come up, it was for like Peter or something. And then as soon as I dropped them off, I got another XL job. £14.82, 12-minute job, going 4.4 miles, and it was back to the same place. So I sat there for a couple of minutes again. I thought, who's this Peter ordering these XLs? Sorry for. Next thing, another couple come out with a pram, and he was like, "Oh, you've just taken our mate." He said, "Yeah, I'm Peter." I was like, "Bloody hell, what is this? Like a baby club going on? Like the music's booming in there, and it's full of babies." So luckily, this one was in an actual like car seat that detached from the pram and went straight in. They were able to put the seatbelt around it like a normal one, because this baby was I think 3 months old. So so that one was okay. Dropped them off, and at this point it was like the whole of Southport was just like surging red. I'll flick through in a sec, because this is the first time I've looked back. I don't recall getting that many surge jobs, to be honest, even though it was surging. It's weird, but the prices have been good. What tonight reminds me of is how it felt when I first joined Uber. You know, it was like job after job, but the prices were good. It was weird. So anyway, yeah, the next job was £11.35. It was a 9-minute job going 5.5 miles. I then had another XL job, £9.47, 6-minute job going 2.2 miles. Then had a £11.42 job. That was just an X, 16 minutes going 7.1 miles. Then had another XL, £8.98. 6-minute job going 1.8 miles. £6.66, 7-minute job going 3.4 miles. Here's a surge job, £6.37, 2-minute job going 0.8 of a mile. Another surge job, £5.30, 5-minute job going 1.8 miles. A surge XL job, £12.20. 7-minute job going 2.9 miles. That was at 11:45. This is when I feel like things, I don't know, it was a little bit busy and then it was going quiet, and then I had another surge XL job, £11.35, 5-minute job going 2.1 miles. Customer cancelled. £6.16, 7-minute job going 2.8 miles. And then had, including a £1 tip, £6.18, 8-minute job going 2.9 miles. It was then coming up to 1 o'clock, £5.31. What I started to notice once we got to about 1 o'clock was the job started to get a bit daft again, where it was like £1 a mile. Like I was offered like 11 quid to go 10 miles towards Liverpool and stuff like that, and then other jobs were coming up. One came up, it was a 4-mile job. It was offering me like £5.20, and it was a multi-drop. You just like really stupid things like that. Yeah, that was £5.31, 4 minutes for 1.6 miles. And then when I'd done that second to last job, it was coming up saying my drive time remaining was 12 minutes. So I was just determined to use my drive time up, so I thought I'm going to stay here and just take anything. And then sat there for like 20 minutes waiting for a job, and I thought I'm going to have to start just going home. And then another job come up, £4.90 for a 5-minute job going 1.8 miles. And then after I dropped them off, it come up saying you've got 4 minutes remaining. So I left it on when I was driving all the way back, and it was only when I got close to mine, a job popped up. It was all the way into Ormskirk, and I wouldn't have had enough battery, so I just left it. So basically, yeah, I've got 4 minutes of drive time left. So yeah, all in on Uber, including, I think I got like a £6 cash tip, 3 off one person, 3 off another. So I finished Uber on £351. It's not telling me the amount of trips. I'm sure it told me before. It seems to take a while to update. So hours wise, the whole shift together, including my private job this morning, has been 18 hours. I started just before 8 a.m. and it's 2 o'clock now in the morning. But my Uber hours, I started at midday, and that's obviously ran till 2 o'clock in the morning. So I've done 14 on Uber. But then you can do like some deductions from that, because obviously I went on charge this morning, which was for like an hour and a half, and then I went on charge again this evening at 8 o'clock, and that was for an hour. So of that 18-hour shift, 2.5 hours of that has been charging up, and of that 14-hour Uber shift, an hour was charging up. So I've technically done like 13 hours. Is that right? Yeah, 12, 13, 14, yeah, so it's 14, but I've done 13. So 345 plus the tip, 351. So I would divide that over my actual hours on Uber, which was 13. Now I only do that. Some people might want to do it over the 14 because they see it as, well, I've been out the house for 14, which is right, but I can't exactly blame Uber for not paying me for that hour that I was charging up, because technically they've paid me for every other hour that I've been working for them. So anyway, the 351 over the 13 hours that I've done is £27 an hour. Which isn't too bad, to be honest. Because it's been like consistent. There's been some hours which has obviously been better than others, but to do 13 hours non-stop on Uber and to basically average £27 an hour is good. That's, I think, in fact, I'm 99% sure that's the most I've done on any Uber shift since I've been with Uber. I've done a few like 300s, maybe 310, 320, but I think that's the first time I've gone past 350. So like I said, that 350 plus I had my private job this morning, which was only 80, takes me to 430. So yeah, I mean, there's loads of different ways you could work it out. You could do that 430, and I've been out for 18 hours. So if you're including the 2.5 hours I've sat there and done nothing, so divide that by 18, that works out at £23.88 an hour. You might take that 430 and say, well, I'm taking 2 hours off for the charge, so I've done 16 hours, for example. Then that works out at £26.80 an hour. So it just depends on how you see it. I just see it as, I've done a private job, I've done Uber, been on charge for a bit, and I've come home with 430 quid for the day. Now I know it's been a long shift, but again, it's kind of like, it's what you're used to. If you're used to doing long shifts, then it's okay. If you're not, you might look at that and go, Jesus Christ, 18 hours, that's ridiculous. Where I spent years on the Arctics, and every day you had to do 15 hours. You would do 10 hours drive and 15 hours, and if you didn't, so you get back to the yard at the end of the week, they'd ask for your tachographs and they'd be looking at it to see how many hours you've been doing, because they wanted to get the most out of you, basically. So yeah, I've spent years doing 15-hour shifts a day, and best parts of, if not up to, your 10 hours drive. So I've done 10 hours drive today, I've done 18 hours, but like I said, 2.5 of that was on charge. So it's almost like a HGV shift. So there's a lot of people who say, oh, I'm going to ditch the taxis and go on the HGVs. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, because I've done it. But yeah, today's shift is basically would be what you would have to do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday shift would be a little bit shorter because you can only do 60 hours. So you tend to get a little bit of an earlier finish on a Friday. But yeah, like I wouldn't mind doing that for Uber and me private jobs. If it paid that sort of money every day, it'd be great. But like I said, I haven't been paid that much off Uber since last year. And funny enough, just after I logged off, a message has come through on Uber saying, tell us about your earnings experience. So they obviously know that this is the most that they've paid me since like last year in August when I started. So then what they're doing now is they're basically thinking, let's see if he's happy with that kind of money, trying to get like a little bit of feedback. There's like a little survey. I'm just clicking on it now for the first time. Participation in the survey is voluntary. We will not share your individual answers outside of Uber. Even though we might use your answers internally to better understand our users and improve the Uber experience, your response will be treated accordingly to our privacy notice. How much of the ride price would you estimate drivers typically receive? And then it's just got a scale. So how much do we receive? Well, on average, I would say 60%. And that's going off the amount of passengers that get in, and they'll simply say like, I've done airport runs for Uber where I've been paid like 50, 55 pound, and the customer's paid 100. So basically they've taken best part of 50%. I know there is the occasional job they get in where they're like, oh, I hear them over talking 9 times out of 10. They're like, oh yeah, I've paid like 12 quid for this, and I'm thinking, well, I got paid 10. So I thought, well, that's not too bad. I'm not saying Uber shouldn't be taking money and making a profit. Of course they should, but I would say 95% of the time the customers are getting in, they're like, oh, it's cost me 25 quid this, and I'm thinking, Jesus, I'm only getting like 10 or 11 quid, and it's annoying because you're thinking like they are taking the piss, that they're taking way too much commission. So I feel like, personally, from my experience, at most we get about 60%, and Uber takes 40. That's what I believe. You estimated that drivers typically receive 60% of the ride price. What is your estimated breakdown of the remaining 40% per ride? So it's got Uber commission and then third-party fees. So third-party fees is obviously going to be the tax, which is 20%. And then Uber would be 20, I'm guessing. You estimated that Uber's commission is 20%. What do you think is a reasonable commission that companies like Uber, i.e. ride sharing or trip booking, should receive in return for their services? About 10%. So I think 10% is fair because of the size of the company. Now, if it was a smaller company, a smaller local company, they would have to make more than 10% because they might only have, say, 30 drivers, and they've got obviously loads of overheads and things like that. Now, I know Uber's got a shitload of overheads, but they're a global company turning over billions and billions of dollars. So basically they can afford to take less of a commission. So I think like 10%. Because like if they were taking like 10%, the likes of like the airport job that I'd mentioned that I've done, because I've done 2 of them, but the one in particular that I've done from Bearscough to Manchester Airport, I think I got paid like 53 quid, and the customer paid, it was like around 100 or just over 100. So they've taken basically 50%. Now, if Uber would have took 10% of that, I would look at that and think, oh, I've been paid 90 quid for that, which is basically I mean, if anything, it's like I done that Manchester to Southport today at a bit of a discounted rate for 80 quid, whereas the one that I'm doing next week is 115. So if Uber did take the 10% and paid the driver 90, that wouldn't be far off what people like myself with my own operator's license charge to take people to the airport. So all the drivers would then be happy because they'd be thinking, that's good, you know. And then all these complaints that you see all the time, there wouldn't be any because the drivers would be happy. So yeah, I don't know how serious they take it on board, but I just feel as though what's happened to me tonight is, I know I've done a lot of hours, but I feel as though like Uber's been feeding me jobs, thinking, because quite a few of them surveys come through and I always put on, I'm pissed off, it's crap, how likely are you to continue working here? 0, just crap, send it in. So they can obviously see Paul's pissed off. So then I've come out and I feel like that this has taken me back to like August last year, and I was being fed job after job after job, and it's been good all day. And the second I click log off, it pings up and they send me that survey. How do you feel about the money you've received? It's like, it's just so convenient. So the fact that I've answered that now, they will kind of look at that and go, oh, so Paul's quite happy with that now, because he's averaged basically like, what was it, like £27 an hour for the whole shift, to try and get a bit of a feedback, so they know when they're pushing the drivers too far and when they're going to start like losing drivers and things like that. So that's obviously what they're doing, but it'd be interesting to see, because I watch quite a few other like YouTubers who do it. There's like, you know, I say driver Matty, he's not so much driving anymore, he's doing more like you know, like social media content, but there's quite a other, like Scouser with a drone, there's driver Denny, rideshare buddy, things like that. So I watch quite a few of them, and it's interesting to see what they do, you know, like for their weekend shift. And what I've noticed, even though we are kind of like, some are in the northwest and rideshare buddies more like Wales kind of way, I've noticed like we kind of do similar hours on similar days, and we're getting almost identical amounts at the end of the shift. So it's like, it doesn't feel like it's just potluck. It feels like the Uber app is basically saying, right, okay, so if you're working them 6 hours there, they already know they're going to pay you like 120 quid. And then you'll watch someone else on YouTube who's done that Friday shift, and they just so happen to have done 6 hours as well, and they're like, oh, I made £118, and I'm thinking, that's funny, because I made 120. And then I'll watch the next guy, and he's done 6 hours as well, and like, we don't tell each other what we're doing, and then they've made like £121, and I'm thinking, how have we all made like almost identical amounts? It's crazy, like. So yeah, there's definitely something going on behind the scenes there. I'm logged off, but I'm just hovering over Ormskirk now, and the whole of Ormskirk and the whole of Skelmersdale is surging bright red. I've only got 12 miles left of my tank, so technically I've had my full charge last night, which I've come out and used. That'll be interesting to have a look at if I go on BP. So that cost me £3 or £3.40 or something last night. I've then topped up after my private job this morning with BP, which was a rapid charger. I then went back again at 8 o'clock and used the rapid charger again at BP. So my first rapid charge this morning, yeah, that one. So this is, I think, a 45 kilowatt battery. So it's stuck in 37.3 kilowatts, and that took an hour and 13 minutes, and it cost £23.50, which kind of day rates isn't too bad, to be honest. Granted, this is on the BP one, so I'm supposed to get £250 a month free credit for the first 3 months. so I'll see what happens at the end of the month. And then when I went back later on, I then got 40.54 kilowatts, so I only had 4.5 kilowatts left in my battery. Well, what's quite surprisingly is that charger, because it was more powerful, it's put just over 40 kilowatts in 44 minutes, whereas in the morning it only stuck 37 kilowatts in, and it took an extra half an hour, even though it stuck in 3 kilowatts less. So it just goes to show, like, it's definitely better. And then that one this afternoon cost £27.97. So it must have been maybe a slightly different rate, because there's only 3 kilowatts in it, but it's cost £4 more. Yes, that's like £4 more for 3 kilowatts. So that doesn't sound quite right. So that sounds like it's charged like £1.30 a kilowatt or something. I don't know, God knows. So yeah, all in basically for today, because I've done 310 miles, and it's cost me on electric, well, I know this is free on the BP one, but it would have cost if I would have gone to those rapid charges and paid the full VAT. Realistically, if I would have done that and I was paying, I would have a membership with one of them to get like a discounted rate, or I would have like selected the cheapest one. I've just gone to the nearest BP one. So anyway, if I would have paid for this, it would have cost what, 10, 20, 30, 40, call it 50 with BP, and then me home charging, which would have been about £3.50. So it would have cost about £53.50. I've still got like 12 miles left, but it's not far off being flat, and that's done 309 miles. So if I just do the, what is it, about £53 divided by 309, so that's coming out at about 17 pence a mile because of the rapid charges. So like I said, granted, I've got that for free, so technically I've done 309 miles for £3.50. But yeah, obviously it's one of the things with EV, you have to shop around. I know they all have different tariffs, like BP and Ionity. You can sign up for like £10 a month, and then you can charge up during the day and get better rates. Same with Tesla and whatnot. Whereas it's rare that I will charge up during the day. I'll always wait until like the off-peak tariff, which is around 8 o'clock with InstaVolt, and then it's even rarer again that I would use a rapid charger twice in the day. It just so happens to be, like I said, because I've had my private job this morning, and then I've thought, oh, I might as well just stay out and use Uber. So yeah, all in all, not too bad of a day, quite busy, decent turnover, and that's about it really. So I was going to say I'm not going to be out tomorrow, but it is tomorrow because it's already Sunday. So I'm busy Sunday, so I'm going to be looking at potentially Monday, maybe Monday. No, I think I'm going to be doing some more drone footage on Monday. Tuesday, I think I'm busy Tuesday as well. Yeah, see, so I mightn't be out now until about Wednesday again. I'm out Monday. Lost track of thing. I need to get me under the calendar. It's been a long shift, so my head's a bit battered. I think I'm going to the airport on Monday, or I don't know if that's the following Monday. Might be the following Monday. So anyway, that's about it. I'll wrap that up there. Successful shift, and yeah, if you've got any questions or anything, please pop them in below, and I'll try my best to answer them for you. So yeah, thanks for watching. Might be a long video. I haven't looked at how long I've been waffling for. Sometimes to like half an hour, sometimes to like an hour, but yeah, I just tend to waffle a little bit, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.